Well, it looks like history is repeating itself again because the last time I did this, which was for my Phase 4 ranking video that I did 3 years ago, I had mentioned in the beginning of the video where I had deleted the original cut and just did a redo of it. And that's what happened again, as I deleted the original cut for this video as I'm redoing it because it was 52 minutes long and I only have 55 minutes left to record on this damn phone. Also, I wasn't too happy with that thumbnail I made for my Phase 4 ranking video, so I wanted to try things different with my thumbnail for this video, which is just me in different costumes I've worn throughout the entirety of Phase 5, as I would like to think that, oh, these are my variants from the multiverse, as this is the multiverse saga after all. And I would be wearing a Deadpool costume for this video, but it is hot as hell right now. So the only thing I got going on is a hat, a shirt, and I have a special guest with us for this video, the Wabusi. This is probably going to be the only Phase 5 prop I could show off, because last time I tried showing off anything I had that was Phase 4 related, whether it was Lego sets or Funko Pops or movies. Well, it was mainly Funko Pops and movies. And I can't do that for this video because I don't even know where am I going to be filming my videos most of the time. I'm going to need to figure out what shall be my background, because most of my reviews I like to feature a Funko Pop based off of whatever I'm reviewing on. And I would show off any Funko Pops I've collected from Phase 5, like Deadpool, Wolverine, or even Thunderbolts or Captain America. But I'm on my bed filming a video as I have the fan blasting at my face because, as I've mentioned earlier, it is hot as hell right now. But okay, we're getting off topic. So, Phase 5 has concluded with Thunderbolts and Ironheart coming out recently, and Phase 6 is right around the corner as the Fantastic Four First Steps shall be the first film to kickstart Phase 6, which is set to be the final phase for the multiverse saga. As Doctor Strange once said in Infinity War, we're in the end game now, because holy crap, we're 2 phases down, 1 to go. I'm actually getting very excited for Phase 6. And it wasn't that long ago, where 3 years ago, when Phase 4 had ended with Wakanda Forever, She-Hulk, and the holiday special with the Guardians of the Galaxy, I had felt the same exact hype I had for a new phase. And was Phase 5 any better than Phase 4? Yes. But it was still a slight mess, unfortunately. I know we're not completely finished with the Multiverse Saga, but by the time we get to Phase 6, I already know that I'm going to prefer the Infinity Saga over the Multiverse Saga, mainly because of the mess Phase 4 and 5 have been, as I can now see that clearly. I would like to think that, oh wait, maybe this happened before in the Infinity Saga, where the first phase wasn't all that great, then Phase 2 was an improvement, but still, there was a few hiccups here and there. And then Phase 3, oh yeah, everything was perfect from there. But we could agree to disagree because, yeah, Phase 4 and 5 have been a huge mess, but there's a huge difference between the first 2 phases of the Infinity Saga and the first 2 phases for the Multiverse Saga. But there's a good chance Phase 6 could save the Multiverse Saga because, as I made a video talking about my thoughts on how Phase 6 could potentially top Phase 3, it might be the best phase as we're about to have every single Marvel hero by the end of it, with the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, even Spider-Man. But before I get to my ranking list from worst to best, just wanted to talk about my thoughts with Phase 5 as a whole. Yeah, I do think it's an improvement over 4, but it was still a mess either way. Yes, Phase 4 was one of the weakest phases we've had in the MCU, and I know not many people enjoyed She-Hulk and Thor: Love and Thunder. Me, personally, I'm not that big of an MCU hater, but there's one MCU project that, oh, I think I've met my match to the point where I don't love this project. I freaking hate it. But since I have grown up with the MCU and love it to death, the closest MCU projects you could have me hating, but I still won't hate, but will agree on why they are considered to be the worst projects we've gotten in recent years from the MCU, would be Thor: Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, but most of all, Secret Invasion. I could easily hate those projects, but I still somewhat enjoy them, but that does not mean I think they're the best. They're obviously the absolute stinkers we've had in the MCU. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Phase 5 was an improvement to Phase 4, but it might have been a bigger mess than how Phase 4 was, possibly. But it's still better than 4. But I don't think we should be worried for Phase 6, as that will definitely be the best phase out of the Multiverse Saga. And as I've said earlier, it may top Phase 3 for being the best phase we've had in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If I had to rank the phases, I got 3, 2, 5, 1, and 4. As for my rating, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10, while I give Phase 4 a 7 out of 10, since I will agree with everyone else that Phase 4 is one of the weakest phases we've had. Anyways, moving on to my ranking list. So originally, I was just only going to rank 13 projects that were MCU canon. Now I'm going to be ranking 16 different projects. Some of them aren't even MCU canon, and that would be X-Men 97 or Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But I will not be including I Am Groot. Sure, that technically is MCU canon, but I'm not going to include that. That show was mainly made for kids for Disney Plus content. But yeah, since this is a redo, I'm going to try to make this video at least, hopefully, 30 minutes, so I'm gonna try to speedrun through this. Plus, there's some MCU projects I still need to cover review on, like Secret Invasion, Thunderbolts, Captain America, or even the What If series as a whole. So for the certain MCU projects from Phase 5 that I have not reviewed yet, I'm gonna give you my quick thoughts and save most of it for when I actually review them later in the future. But with Fantastic Four coming out, definitely expect my movie review for Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts. So coming up, number 16 for me should not be a surprise. That would be Secret Invasion. I am planning to do a re-review on this show, as I'm about 3 episodes in. I have to check out the next 3 episodes. But my quick thoughts on this, I hate to say this, this might be one of the worst MCU projects we've gotten. And it's definitely the worst project we've had from Phase 5. And I won't lie, as I was rewatching this series, as I'm 3 episodes in, I just found it to be boring. Also, I am seriously pissed off with how this just became a Disney Plus show when this should have been a movie. Now, I may not have read Marvel Comics, but I know that this is a big deal with the whole Secret Invasion storyline. Sure, the Marvel should have been titled Captain Marvel 2 Secret Invasion, but I think this is worthy for an Avengers movie. Like, they should have turned this show into Avengers 5 Secret Invasion, then we would have gotten the new Avengers as Avengers 6, and then 7 and 8 being Doomsday and Secret Wars. But the reason I think this will definitely be one of my least favorite projects from the MCU is because of the wasted potential the show had. And again, this should not have been a Disney Plus show, but an Avengers film. And I cannot believe they wasted the Skrulls in the MCU. Just such wasted potential. But wanna know what's another Disney Plus show that had such wasted potential? The What If series. I was excited for this. This was honestly probably one of my most anticipated Disney Plus shows when they announced it back like 5 years ago in Disney Investor Day. But to end it off after 3 seasons, when this show is about infinite possibilities, where it could run for 10 seasons. You ended off at 3 seasons, and worst of all, we didn't even get an episode where one of the other half got snapped away. As for the other half that survived in the movies, instead got snapped away. We have a fan-made What If episode about this. Now, where I have at 15 is mainly Season 3. There's a few episodes I do enjoy. There's mainly 5 I enjoy. The first 3 and the Ironheart episode where she goes up against Mysterio. And then one where we have Kate Bishop teaming up with Shang-Chi as they're both cowboys. The other 3 where we have Howard the Duck have a baby with Darcy. And then the last 2 episodes were sadly underwhelming. This season was overall underwhelming and a slight disappointment. And I know most folks hated Captain Carter. I was not one of them, but after Season 3... yeah, I was starting to reconsider. But still, it honestly just disappoints me that Marvel just decided to just basically end the show after 3 seasons. Now, I'm back and forth on this being an anthology series, but this is technically canon to the MCU, whether you like it or not. Mainly for the Multiverse Saga. But still, I'm disappointed they ended this series after 3 seasons, and just, we're basically never gonna get more What If episodes. Especially at the very end of the series finale, where we got to see other MCU characters that had much better What If scenarios than the ones we got for Season 3. But coming number 14, I would say Season 2 was better, but if you were to ask me which is the best season out of What If, it's Season 1 for me. Now, say what you want, I enjoyed Season 2, especially that Christmas episode we got on Christmas Eve. But yeah, I would say that Season 2 was better than 3 because sadly, that Season 3 was just an underwhelming season. While Season 2 was fun. I enjoyed it. I waited 2 years to get more What If episodes, and yeah, I was happy with Season 2. And if I had to pick a favorite episode from Season 3, might be the Red Guardian and Winter Soldier episode. As for Season 2, probably Episode 2 where we have Peter Quill go up against the Avengers. And honestly, I would love to see a Disney Plus show of those Avengers from that timeline. But yeah, I just have Season 3 at 15, but Season 2 at 14. Coming number 13 for me, oh man, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So I know I was very happy with this movie when it came out, and how I said that, oh, we start off with a bang in Phase 5. Yeah, I take it all back, because this movie's going nowhere with the Kang storyline. This movie was mainly supposed to set up Avengers the Kang Dynasty, which got reworked into Avengers Doomsday, as we had Daniel Destin Craig to direct that movie. Look, where we're at right now with Doomsday, I'm happy with, and not gonna lie, it might turn out better than how Kang Dynasty was gonna go, but still, I would have liked to have seen how it could have turned out. Would have been bad? There's a 50-50 chance, yeah, maybe. But what mainly upsets me the most about this movie is how Kang was just wasted in the MCU. And apparently, this is not his first time getting his ass beat by ants, because in the Earth's Mightiest Avengers show, a childhood show I grew up watching, apparently Kang the Conqueror got his ass whooped by ants as well. I'm gonna need to see that for myself once I have time to watch the series as a whole. But yeah, for this being the third Ant-Man film, I had some expectations, mainly for how I wanted this to end, and whether I wanted it to end on a cliffhanger to set up Kang Dynasty, or have like a nice, solid ending to the trilogy. It failed to do that, as it's definitely the weakest in the trilogy. Now, say what you want about Jonathan Majors, which was a crazy time in 2023, where I was waiting to hear any updates if he was innocent or guilty. I like him as an actor, but if he was proven guilty, I obviously don't condone the actions he's done. But I did love him as Kang the Conqueror, and I'm so upset that he was just completely wasted in the MCU. Now, Ant-Man 3 may have been a disappointing MCU movie, but I can still enjoy this just for Kang the Conqueror himself. Sure, this movie's not going to lean into anything anymore, as Kang is no longer the big bad multiverse villain, because Dr. Doom is taking his spot. But I can still enjoy this movie just for Kang himself, because I did found him to be a cool villain. But yeah, it honestly just bums me out how we were supposed to have Kang the Conqueror as the big multiverse villain, and that's been thrown out the window, pretty much. Now, coming number 12 for me, I got Echo. Sure, this might be a forgettable show, but I honestly enjoyed it. I had fun with it. Now, sure, I'm not happy with how Kingpin is done dirty by the end of the series. I'm also not happy of this having 5 episodes. I'm glad that we didn't have a weekly release, and instead they just dumped all 5 episodes in one day. But I did like Maya Lopez as a main lead, and I liked some of the characters in the show. But yeah, all I can say is that I had fun with this. I don't think it's one of the best, but it's definitely not one of the worst shows. I had fun with Echo, and I'm now just realizing that this show technically tackles supernatural stuff. Coming number 11 for me is The Marvels. I'm not gonna lie, it's been about 2 years since I saw this movie in theaters. I've only seen this once. Now, I have thought about rewatching it again, and I know not many people have enjoyed this movie, but me personally, I had fun with this movie. Say what you want about The Marvels. I prefer it over Captain Marvel. Sure, it might not be one of the best MCU movies, but I had a great time with this movie. And I've been a supporter of this movie since day one. I was looking forward to see the main trio that this movie would be focused on, which would be Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Monica Rambeau as Proton. Now, not many people are aware about this, as sadly the Marvels became the MCU's first flop. But this movie is important for the multiverse saga, mainly by its post-credits scene, as it's now going to have a payoff next year when Doomsday comes out. But yeah, all I can say is that I had fun with this movie. I dug the action sequences we had between the Marvels having to switch their abilities. Now, sure, the villain was not great, but I would prefer it over Captain Marvel. I'll talk more of my thoughts on the Marvels once I do a movie review on it, as I'm 2 years late making, by the way. Same could go for Miss Marvel and my review on Captain Marvel, which I wanted to review that by the time this movie was coming out. But yeah, I had fun with this movie. Coming number 10 for me would be Ironheart. Now, I was intrigued to see this, but then once I saw her in Wakanda Forever, yeah, I was looking forward to check out her show. And now having to see it, yeah, I do think this might be an underrated project from Phase 5. Now, while I may be pissed at this having 6 episodes, I'm also happy this will be one of the last MCU Disney Plus shows to have a 6-episode format. But also, Ironheart kind of pulled it off having a 6-episode format, because the finale is thankfully not a rush finale, and is definitely one of the better finales we've seen from recent Marvel TV shows. Also, Mephisto finally shows up, which, finally, after 4 years, he should have showed up in WandaVision, because most of us were theorizing he would be the main villain for that show. But this is something I forgot to mention about in my Ironheart review, and that would be that this show technically has a street level vibe to it, and I dig it. I also enjoyed most of the characters that were introduced in the show, mainly with the Hood, Ezekiel Stane, especially Natalie being an MVP on the show. And I'm happy we got to see practical suits in the MCU and no more nanotechnology, since most of us have gotten sick and tired of that. But yeah, this is definitely what I would consider to be an underrated project from Phase 5. And I hope we get a second season or a continuation of Riri Williams in the MCU, because you can't leave me hanging like that, Marvel. Coming number 9 for me, I got Captain America Brave New World. I have waited 4 years to see Captain America on screen, and I know there's a mixed reception on this movie. Me, personally, I got what I asked for, and that was to be entertained. Now, I won't hold back on some major criticisms I do have for this movie once I finally do a review on this, most likely tomorrow or Friday. Because sadly, I hate to admit, this isn't Captain America 4. This is secretly The Incredible Hulk 2, with Captain America shoehorned into it. Now, even though Red Hulk has 7 minutes of screen time in this movie, Not only was I waiting to see MODOK in the MCU, mainly in Ant-Man 3, but Red Hulk is another Marvel character I waited to see debut in the MCU. But also, I was happy to see the leader come back after 17 years since the Incredible Hulk that came out in 2008, as that's one of my favorite MCU movies from Phase 1. But I'm not happy with this character design. There's a lot of changes this movie went through, and the way I feel about the Sony villain movies with how they just changed up their movies last minute, sadly, I have that same feeling here with Captain America 4. But overall, I went into this not expecting this to be on the same level as Winter Soldier Civil War, but maybe to be on the same level as the first Avenger or even better. And whatever expectations I had, I got what I asked for with this movie. I'm just glad I don't have to wait 4 years to see Captain America again on screen, as we'll see him again for Doomsday and Secret Wars starting next year, along with Falcon coming back. Coming up number 8 for me, I got Agatha All Along. I'm gonna be honest, as soon as they announced this show, I was like, okay, I like her as a villain, but why do we need a show about her? I honestly thought it was unnecessary for Agatha to have her own spin-off show, as this would be a sequel to WandaVision. But having to watch 9 episodes, I took back every negative thing I said about this show. And also, I think I may have become a Scarlet Witch stan, since I know there's a huge fan base for the Scarlet Witch, as many of us are waiting for her to return in the MCU, as she's technically dead since Multiverse of Madness, but I'm telling y'all, she'll come back. Y'all just gotta be patient. As for her solo movie, until I hear it from Marvel themselves, oh god, this is gonna be a similar thing with how we had to wait 5 years until Marvel finally announced the casting for the Fantastic Four. Because I cannot stand seeing a tweet saying that, oh, Scarlet Witch movie is in development for Marvel Studios on Twitter, because oh god, I think Marvel is going to make a Scarlet Witch movie just after the Multiverse Saga. Unless Multiverse of Madness was really her solo movie, because Doctor Strange is kind of silent in his own movie. But back to topic. Now, I was expecting Agatha to have like a similar role to Loki, where Loki started out as a villain, but now is a hero from where we left him at, which would be Loki Season 2. But no, Agatha is still bad. She's still evil. You still can't trust her in the show. But you do sympathize with her a little bit, mainly by the last episode, which, holy crap. Besides the Loki Season 1 and 2 finale being good, I think this show broke the Rush finale curse, because that was something we were stuck with for the last couple of years with its MCU shows on Disney+. Because the finale is fantastic. This show is surprisingly good. But yeah, this show really surprised me, and I definitely would recommend watching this around the spooky season, because I'm definitely going to be rewatching the show every Halloween season from now on, as this came out around like the perfect time for Spooky Month. But after Agatha All Along, the next show to look forward to conclude this WandaVision trilogy with WandaVision, Agatha All Along, would be Vision Quest that we're set to get next year. Coming number 7 for me, I got Daredevil Born Again. It honestly blows my mind how Marvel managed to pull this off, as I would say this is kind of a Frankenstein type of project. Because we had like a huge overhaul for the show where Marvel fired the old team and hired a new team that made this show way better than what it originally was supposed to be. That would have made this sucked. But the fact that Marvel managed to salvage most of what the old team had, and then mix it up with what the new team brought in for the show, and still made it peak MCU content? Bravo! I don't know how you did, Marvel, but you kind of pulled this one off. But yeah, Daredevil Born Again is definitely a favorite Disney Plus show of mine from Marvel. Now, as much as I enjoy it, there are definitely huge flaws this show has, and it's mainly from the pre-overhaul stuff. The new overall stuff is mainly in episode 1, 8, and 9. But with season 2 coming out next year, yeah, that's alright, 10 out of 10, as I know that's going to be a much better season than season 1. Plus, I cannot wait to see Daredevil finally get his double Ds, as he looks so good in his black suit, which might be a top tier MCU suit. It might be one of his best Daredevil suits in the MCU. But yeah, despite its huge flaws this season has, it's still one of the better Disney Plus shows we've gotten from the MCU. And I cannot wait for season 2 next year with Jessica Jones coming back, which I am hoping the Defenders are reuniting for that second season. Along with the Punisher special we're set to get before season 2, I think. Because season 2 is set to come out March 2026, while I believe it is rumored that we'll get the Punisher special by February of next year. Now here's where I include the animated shows that aren't really MCU canon, but since I included the trailers in my trailer compilation Phase 5, I figured why not do the same for this ranking video. Coming number 6 for me, I got Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I still need to post a review on this, but this is definitely a top tier MCU project from Marvel Animation. And it's definitely top 2 Spider-Man show, while we got Spectacular Spider-Man still being at number 1. There's no way any Spider-Man show is going to dethrone this from number 1. Now, originally this show was supposed to be a prequel show set in the MCU, where we would get to see how our MCU Peter Parker got bit from the radioactive spider. But they changed it last minute, and as much as I was bummed out about that, they might have made the right choice, because what they do in this show with its characters and Spider-Man mythology might be better than how Sony has done it with the Spider-Man MCU trilogy. Now, I love the MCU Spider-Man movies, but having to see what Marvel did in this show, oh, I'm begging Sony to give up the Spider-Man rights and give it back to Marvel, because Marvel knows what they're doing as they do the characters, specifically Spider-Man, X-Men, and soon Fantastic Four, justice compared to what Fox did to X-Men and Fantastic Four before Disney bought Fox back in 2019. But general thoughts on the show, it's going to take some time for me to get used to the animation, but this show has great storytelling, along with great character arcs for not only for Peter Parker, but almost every single character for the show. Specifically, one villain that's supposed to be Tombstone later on. I can't remember his real name, but he's technically supposed to become Tombstone later on. Plus, Season 1 had some major setups for future seasons, like Season 2 and 3, which we are set to have a third season when we get Season 2 next year. But yeah, overall, I had a great time with your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, if you were to ask me which animated show I prefer from Marvel Animation, whether that be X-Men 97 or your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, I'm going with X-Men 97, which I have at number 5 for me, because holy crap, this show's fantastic! 2024 was the year I had like a quick 180 on how I felt about the X-Men, because back then, yeah, I liked the X-Men, but I always preferred the Avengers. But once I binge-watched 5 seasons of the original animated series, I had a huge realization that, oh my god, Fox did these characters dirty! Plus, it felt like I was reading a Bible of understanding these characters better, on the mythology, with the mutants, with the X-Men as a whole. And with the revival series, X-Men 97, oh, if the original series was movie number 1 and 97 movie number 2, this would be a superior sequel that surpassed the original. Because X-Men 97 is one of the best Marvel shows we've gotten on Disney+. Like, this is top tier shit right here. Also, I love the animation style. I honestly love this show so much. And I cannot wait to see the X-Men finally debut in the MCU. While this show may not be canon to the MCU, how to see what Marvel has done with these X-Men characters? Oh, we're in good hands for the X-Men movie, because they do these characters justice, while Fox did them so damn dirty. And while I'll still have Wolverine as my favorite X-Men, I'm down to see other mutants like Cyclops. The only X-Men character I cared about was Wolverine, but having to see the original series along with 97, oh yeah, I now give a shit for the rest of the mutants, specifically Cyclops as well. I can see him being a badass now. And I'd be down if you were like a main character for the X-Men movie that we're set to get in the MCU right after the Multiverse Saga. But yeah, this show has competition to dethrone Loki, as I have that as the best Disney Plus show from Marvel. Which, speaking about Loki, coming up number 4, I have Loki Season 2. I enjoyed Season 1, but oh my god, Season 2 might be my favorite. I know I've complained about these Disney Plus shows having 6-episode formats, but Loki gets a pass because they managed to pull it off having a 6-episode format. Now, even though we're following a Loki variant and not the original that we followed in the main MCU timeline, this Loki has a great character arc, specifically for Tom Hiddleston, as he's been playing this character since 2011 in Marvel Studios Thor. And its series finale probably has to be one of my favorite episodes from this show. Also, I wasn't even expecting this to end at 2 seasons. Would I be down for a 3rd season? I say yes, but with how it ended, I'm perfectly fine with this having 2 seasons. Also, some fans have said that this show technically can fix the whole Kang storyline issue. I slightly don't see that, but basically what I'm hearing is that this show kind of fixes the whole Kang being a multiversal threat, thanks to the TVA keeping an eye out for any Kang variants. But honestly, I would like to see Dr. Doom just kill every single variant we saw in that post-credit scene for Ant-Man 3, just to show how much of a threat he is for Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. But seriously though, Season 2 was freaking phenomenal. I still have yet to post not only my series review, but along with my Season 2 reaction, since I only have posted my Episode 1 reaction for Season 2. But yeah, to me, Loki is the best Disney Plus show for the MCU. Well, I got WandaVision at 2nd place and Daredevil Born Again at 3rd place, but I know Daredevil Born Again will move up to 2nd place once Season 2 comes out, because I already know that season's gonna be a 10 out of 10, thanks to the new team working on the season. Alright, I'm gonna be honest, similar to how I was having an issue trying to rank my top 3 MCU project for Phase 4, I got a similar situation for this one, as I got Guardians 3 at number 3. I know most fans have had Guardians 3 at their number 1 for their Phase 5 ranking list. When Fantastic Four comes out, I'll have Guardians 3 at number 1 for a ranking list that's supposed to be a ranking list for like, alright, let's rank the movies post-Endgame. But yeah, thoughts on Guardians 3? It's the best in the Guardians trilogy, and it did a better job than what Ant-Man 3 failed to do at capping off a trilogy, and it is one of James Gunn's best films, as he went out with a bang, since this was his last project before he went on to go direct Superman to kickstart the DCU, as he shall become the Kevin Feige for DC Studios. I freaking love this movie. I could say the first one's the best, but no, this is the best in the trilogy. Also, this movie gave us one of the best villains in the MCU. A villain where you just want to beat the living crap out of them, just for the things the High Evolutionary did to Rocket Raccoon, as he has such a tragic backstory, as this movie is quite dark, surprisingly. But it's definitely an emotional story, as I end up tearing up for when Rocket lost his friends, as I end up crying for Rocket Raccoon. Kinda dying in this movie, but it is easily a top-tier MCU project, and definitely one of the best films we've gone post-Endgame. And if you were to ask me what's at number 1 for best movie since Endgame, there's 2 in mind. Either Guardians 3 or Thunderbolts, which I got at second place, which would be The New Avengers. This is definitely going on my top 10 favorite movies of 2025, as this might be one of my personal favorite films from the MCU. Specifically for the Multiverse Saga, but definitely on my top 10 list. Which, holy crap, it's gonna be hard ranking these movies, as I had to cram in Shang-Chi, No Way Home, Deadpool, Wolverine, Guardians 3, and Thunderbolts onto my top 10. But yeah, this movie came out at the perfect time, which would be Mental Health Awareness Month in May. Because this movie tackles mental health issues with depression, loneliness, even suicide. Now, I know most of us were not down for the lineup Marvel had announced back in D23, but I absolutely love this team dynamic. And we can all easily relate to Bob as a character. And this movie's post-credit scenes is way better than the post-credit scenes we got from Captain America 4. Because, slight spoiler alert, it also sets up the next MCU film in 2025, which would be the Fantastic Four. But as I mentioned about Ant-Man 3 starting off with a bang, but since that movie's leaning into nowhere, since that was supposed to set up the Kang Dynasty, which is being reworked into Doomsday, as Dr. Doom is replacing Kang as the big multiverse villain, I'm happy to say that Phase 5 went out with a bang with this movie. I'll talk more thoughts about Thunderbolts once I review that, before Fantastic Four comes out next week. Now, coming number 1 for me, it should not even be a surprise. I'm wearing the hat, I got the shirt on, I even have the goddamn popcorn bucket, and that would be Marvel Studios' Deadpool and Wolverine. Do I even need to explain myself? I know this might be a hot take, but me personally, I fucking love Deadpool Wolverine. It's not only one of my favorite movies that came out in 2024, but it's definitely one of my most favorite projects from the MCU. Sure, it might be a similar situation to where I had No Way Home at my number 1 most favorite project from Phase 4. But here's what I shall say, as I'm now caught in storage again. God damn it! I love that this is the MCU's first rated R film, and I absolutely love Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in this movie. But what matters to me the most with this movie is that I got to see Hugh Jackman come back as the Wolverine, because when I saw Logan in theaters, that movie broke me as a kid. I was heartbroken that I would not see the Wolverine again. And then Ryan Reynolds had to announce that Hugh Jackman would be back for Deadpool 3. Plus, we got to see Wolverine in the yellow suit, which, oh my god, it looks so good. If I do not see Deadpool Wolverine come back for Doomsday and Secret Wars, I'm gonna be pissed. Also, this may be one of the funniest movies we've done in the MCU. You know how long I've been waiting for this? I'm about making land for myself, yeah. Oh man, I cannot wait to see Channing Tatum's Gambit return for Doomsday and Secret Wars. Now, I could say that Deadpool is the best in the trilogy, as that is considered to be one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. But if I had to choose a favorite out of Deadpool 1, 2, and 3, I'm going with Deadpool Wolverine as my favorite, as that will probably be the best in the trilogy just because of Deadpool and Wolverine themselves. Well, that being said, I have Deadpool Wolverine at number 1, as I consider that to be my most favorite project from Phase 5. So with that being said, that is my ranking list of all MCU projects we've gone from Phase 5, ranked from worst to best. Be sure to let me know your thoughts, comments down below on Phase 5. Was it better or worse than Phase 4? This is how I would rank the movies and the TV shows, and definitely let me know your ranking list in the comments down below. But now that we're done with Phase 5, it's time to get hyped for Phase 6, because ladies and gentlemen, I think we're in for a treat. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I shall see you all for my Phase 6 hype trailer. Peace out. I'm gonna end the video with the TV spot we got for the Fantastic Four. That has got me insanely hyped.
Could you take us through how you defeated Galactus? How we did?
We didn't.
Not yet. Not yet, we didn't.
We attempted to negotiate, but Galactus... he asked too high a price.
Well, what does he want?
What did he ask?
He asked for our child.
John, answer this! Are we safe?
Are we safe? Yeah. I don't know.